And good evening, and welcome to Tag Talk. We are doing a out of sequence special recording this evening on the 28th of December. This would, I think, be episode 21 if we were recording it, but because editing the Unit 26 and Pro 5 footage is taking me a bit longer than necessary, because thank you, Adam. Um, we're going to just record. We're going to record this and throw this end of year special out off sequence just as something for the holiday mood there. So I've joined tonight by Blind Geek, Boneheed, and RedDiamond. We're going to sit and talk over highlights for the 2025 year and potentially what we're looking forward to in 2026. Who wants to go first? And I'm going, while we do that, I'm going to crack open a beer.
Hashtag
So
priorities.
yeah, I mean, I've got a couple of little bits and bobs that I think are worth sharing from this year. So I've had a bit of a mixed year. It's my third year in the hobby now, of all things, and some really great events that I managed to get to. Some events I wished I'd got to, and one specific one that I'm really gutted I missed, as we've discussed before. Um, the main sort of elephant in the room for me this year is the lack of Dishforth events, which is something that I'm sure we'll touch on later on. We did have the one excellent outdoor event, which was the Quarry Clash. Really nice new site, really good facilities, excellent place to go. Enjoyed the games, but was broken and dehydrated and broken and in pain and dehydrated afterwards, and covered in white dust as well. Just for good measure, but really nice venue. Would love to see more of that, along with some more Dishforth games would be good. But yeah, Unit 26 has come in as an absolute new favourite venue for me. I know we've discussed this before, but we've done 3 events this year, Adam, is that? Yep. 3 events there this year, all of which were absolutely fantastic. Some brilliant new game types, some evil new mechanics in some of those game types. Lots of new toys to play with, lots of meth toddled for me. And yeah, my bank account loves me.
I can't say anything on that front. The
Your
last
meth
time I checked, I
toddled.
was dead. Well, one of them was a Santa toddle, so. But I think the last count I had, I'm sitting round about 200 odd of varying, like going from a couple of jolts up to like Jury, PP, Fire Rap. So I've really need to actually got the nerf cupboard.
It's when you get a Nerf shed, that's when you know you're reaching too much.
Or a Nerf door.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or about half of your garage is the equipment. Yeah, yeah. But the thing is, it's all it really shows is that you value your money where you spend it. You know.
Yeah.
I was just actually very
I
quickly
love
just
you
on,
too, House. I love you too. Don't worry.
I'm going to do a comedy stand-up for reasons that will become evident, but there we go.
Financial planning, yes.
services. Absolutely,
Definitely in
yes,
effect for this year.
absolutely. It's just well, we're sitting talking about all the events, and I'm thinking, oh, I don't know, I actually better go and check in how many events we actually done there. Because we had, I'm just looking back on the this is where actually putting videos and things up at the same time as they roughly happen would be really handy. Um, yeah, so there was Bristol. Right, hold on.
It's been a busy year.
With
So
Battle
I've
Royale, I think we started with Battle Royale 12 in February, and
so
then
there
you had
was Battle Royale, iCombat, Eyeballs, and
Eyeballs
Anarchy all in
3, I think
February.
it was. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Eyeballs
all
3.
and Anarchy 1 all in February. Um,
Yeah,
so
because
I've
we didn't. There was. I don't think there was any actual Anarchy footage.
no, because it was
No.
so dark
Yeah.
No, I got footage for Anarchy 2, but I think
too,
it was
but it was
pretty much
still dark.
all you could see was just the safe zone and then darkness. There were the lighting was so bad there that even on a kind of high frame rate, low lighting setting, you wouldn't have seen very much.
No.
And
I think
that
we
was
only
the
ended up doing like the first round of it
yeah.
before.
that was one of the things I wasn't particularly keen on with Anarchy. It was an excellent little venue. It was a good thing, but I found it difficult to determine which targets were which. But the darkness definitely added a different feel to the games, as we discovered with Hold the Front Page last year. That was also some darkness that made it quite interesting.
Yeah,
That was
so
2 years
adding
ago.
on to the Christmas
Was it
list
two?
for
Wow.
2026's Night Vision.
We had Garden Games 3 as well, because that's when we started doing the Garden Games again. That was 3. So we've done 3, 4, 5, 5.5, 6, and 7. So there was quite a few of those ones. Yeah, there's been a lot of actual events on. You done your Highway to Hull, or Highway to Hell rather.
Yeah, there's been Pro
Pro
3,
3,
4, and
Pro
5.
4, exactly, Pro 3, 4, and 5. We had Quarry Clash, we've had Eyeballs, I think
2 eyeballs, wasn't there?
Yep.
Yeah,
Eyeballs
2
3
eyeballs
and
this year.
4.
There was
Yeah.
a Terminal
know-
Infection as well.
Or, professional mentality would have actually not documented this beforehand. Yay, of course, I mean, there was a Crisis in Kahazi that all the darts put on, plus I think they done a sequel to that one as well, but that's
Yeah.
Oh
kind
no,
of
the sequel's coming next year, I want to say.
plan. See, yeah, again, lack of professionalism. Yay, fantastic.
Was that
Okay.
the event that we got
Professional?
footage from Team Wolferuna for?
Yeah,
Was
that
that
was
the
one
Crisis
where
in Kahazi?
Garbutt get the slow motion grenade blowing up in his face type thing,
Yes.
which was still funny, Plus there was Bristol
Negligent
Black.
discharge of grenades is always funny, as Blind Geek found out the last U26. Cue
Yes.
Frank's big explosion.
What was
Yeah.
that? But I was carrying my ultrasonic mine and it exploded in my hand.
Yes,
And
one
that's
as
on
well.
camera. But yeah, it's been a busy year.
It has been.
So it's my busiest year post-pandemic. So like 2021, I think I did 3 games, 6, 5, and then this year I've done 10. So I've done 9 public events, 1 private event. Obviously 2 eyeballs, 3 Unit 26. I did Quarry, I did both Anarchies. And we did District 23. So we've ended up with 3 new venues for me this year, which is possibly the best since 2019. Where 2019 we had.
Well, where did we not go in 2019?
But this is the thing, it's my best year since 2019. 2019 I did like 60 events and parties. So 2019 was absolutely jam-packed. And this is my busiest since. And it's good to get back to a thing of there's pretty much something you can get to every month. And like you've touched on, there was no Dish Fest this year. So Spartan, November 2024, it's been made redundant and with some issues over that, and then we've not heard from him since. So there's been no Dish Fest game. Quarry Clash kind of picked up some of that. But like Boneheed said, that was brutal. The walk just from the spawn point to any kind of position to play in was 10, 15 minutes. And then if you're going on further, it's another 10. I want to go back, but we need to think about how to do it. And maybe have a staging post. I mean, it's something I've been thinking about because I always sum up my year in advance around Christmas time. Quarry Clash is one of those ones that was both really good for me because I got a chance to play rather than having to play and run. But it didn't. So no shade on Fib. They ran a great event, new venue. Every event at a new venue always has some teething issues, and you never know quite what you're going to get. But it didn't run the way I wanted to run it, and because I'm a bit of a control freak, great event, not good because it wasn't my event. So swings and roundabouts on that one. But I've been wondering about how I'd run it again there and how to use the site better. Anarchy, like you say, very dark, but I like that kind of CQB, not knowing who's around the corner. I love that. And it's why I like Eyeballs. It's why I like Unit 26. It's why I like District 23. I thrive on that kind of manic CQB. Every shot could be a hit. I love that, and I prefer that over 200 FPS. I've said this before that I go to 200 FPS events because my friends go and I get to play with my friends. I don't go because I enjoy 200 FPS. The irony is there. I'm already thinking next year free 200 FPS games. So ignore what I'm saying.
There is a certain paradox involved in it.
Yeah. So,
and let's be fair as well. We have, or most of us at least, have got a lot of gear
New
that
toys.
is well, gear that's powered more towards the 200 FPS.
Yeah.
Particularly the newer Dark Zone stuff is all too powerful in general
Yeah.
for one joule. So it's already kind of exceeding that
Yeah,
130
so
FPS one joule kind of level.
and this is something we've discussed in our chat before, but the 160, there's not many events at 160. You've got FDT Pro, one in April at Bolton. That's a combined one with Fomentar and Fib. That's having
Level
160. Yeah, so that's going to be a 160. Because there is that 160 thing of the Maxim, the Tomcat, the Dictator, all those kind of previous years Dark Zone stuff is all kind of that 160. So there's that then step up to 200, and then there's step up beyond that to 300. And obviously you've got
300, you say?
the Kunlun.
Emotional support.
Emotional support.
Knew that was coming out.
But that's the thing. There's so few events where you can run a Kunlun in the UK. And I've got an idea next year on how I could possibly do that, taking some inspiration from what Fomentar have done down south. But yeah, it's been for me, it's been mostly CQB, which for me is great because I love that. But I have noticed, obviously, the lack of Dishworth. I do enjoy Dishworth. It's why I'm on an event next year there. But also there's been no Grim Up Nerf. So we've had no kind of intro events in the kind of middle of the north. So you've still got the FDT intro events, which is great. And down south, Fomentar are doing stuff. But in the kind of Leeds, Manchester, Hull, that kind of area, there's nothing to get people into the hobby.
For us, the FDT events that we use, the family ones, we're losing our site. East Kilbride, the shopping centre, is essentially being demolished, I believe. It's so I don't know exactly what it is, and I didn't really look too much into it. I just knew that when we done our last terminal infection there, that was it. This was the last hurrah for that particular venue. I do believe that there are other venues in discussions and plans, but it's unfortunate that we've lost what was a very good venue for running the things in, and
very good and very central for everybody.
Exactly, as you say, they're Red, very good and very central. And yeah, the lack of sort of introductory venues does sort of make things kind of like it kind of feels as if, it sort of feels as though one of the things that we were saying about was the sort of post-pandemic recovery, and it sort of feels as if you make two steps forward and one step back
One step
occasionally.
back, yeah, definitely.
And it just sort of reiterates how much there's sort of like there's three bands to the UK's hobby scene. There is the Scottish scene, there is the sort of North of England scene, yourself and Fib, and then there's this sort of further south, Londoners, slash ATD Midlands, yeah,
and Bristol, yeah,
and it does very much feel as though there's just like three distinct bands of coverage, and it's just like it just sort of feels as if like everyone sort of like takes two forward and one back in different times, and just like yeah, and it is unfortunate that there's been no gun events there, but yeah, it's the nature of it's the nature of it when you don't have a dedicated venue with permanent access to there. But I definitely want to come back to that one because I think it's worth mentioning just now that the thing with Dishforth is we didn't really lose access to Dishforth. We lost our host at
No,
Dishforth.
I'm going to say.
And
So I reached out to Nathan,
yeah.
to ask about hiring it for my birthday, and he responded within about 5 minutes saying, "I'll get back to you tomorrow," and then a couple of hours, it was like, "Not tomorrow." It's not a problem. We'll get you booked in. So he's quite eager to get us back.
Mhm.
It's like you say, it's just that Spartan's taken a step away from the Hobbit.
And I
But
hope that
nobody
does
really wants
well
to take
wherever they
over
find
because you don't
themselves.
want to feel like you're stepping on
Yeah.
his toes,
Yeah.
sort of thing.
And I know it's just Spartan sort of dropped off the scene, and I just wherever they are, whatever they're doing, I hope they're doing well, you know.
Yeah.
And if they want to come back, hey, well, hey. But if they decided that this is no longer their sort of thing, then thank you for the time, you know. Red, what is your particular one? Because you're sitting there quietly.
Which makes a change.
If you sing,
No, I'm not going to sing. That that'll be in October. Don't worry.
on you go, mate.
Well, events wise, I'm going to say going to Foam Fest. That was one of my big highlights because that was like my big sort of summer holiday. Basically, was that weekend. Like, I'd taken the time off. I was like, right, I'm going here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to this bit. I'm going to go to that bit. I'm going to go here. I'm going to play Service Station Leapfrog on the way home. It's going to be hilarious, which it was. Uh, Another like, sort of event highlight. I actually hosted a little Nerf War this year. Or
Yes, stage divers, as we discussed
yeah.
during.
Well, it was technically called the Foam Flying Fun Day #2, not your usual round of shots. But
But that's cool to see people hosting events that aren't necessarily for public consumption. You know,
it was also
it's
nice to sort of, I'll sound bad when I say it, it was nice to sort of go to something that wasn't a half dark hero. It was just, yeah, I picked this up in Tesco because I thought it looked cool. Let's play with it. Because the whole, it's like about 20 meters by about 10 meters. It's not suitable for us. Like, I couldn't turn around to Josh, for example, and say, look, see if it's too rainy, well, enough notice for you to do a garden games. We could host here and we can run like a sort of garden game style day. There's no the room in there, and I know that from experience.
yeah, we'd be doing the offals round to make sure it wasn't actually overpowered, because otherwise it would just be firing squads at either side of the room, wouldn't it?
Well, even with strong arms and disruptors, I was still getting like effectively firing squads. But the people that turned up, because I'd done it for the theatre group, I've been trying for years to get us to do one. And it started off as a fundraiser. And then the more I looked into it, I was like, oh yeah, this is way not going to make money. So when I was a president of the club, I went, right, screw it. I'm hiring out the hall during what was effectively Sunday rehearsal time. I'm hiring hall and bring some stuff. Let's do it. 3 folk turned up to it. So then get put on the back burner, and then this year with theatre group we've been needing something to really blow off steam. So I thought, right, I'll do that again. And the first thing everybody done was I stood in front of them and went, right, come on, take a shot. But instead of order 66, we had order 24601. But I tried to theme all the games to like different musical stuff and different like songs. And then we had my pièce de résistance, because again, I don't think the hall is big enough for like a game of humans versus zombies. And because I know one person who I thought was coming, but ended up they couldn't make it. Something came up. I was like, right, you fell on stage recently. You're still hobbling. I really don't want you running about in case you fall again. And
He took it
Me.
Tartan hero.
No,
Yeah.
well, no,
I don't get an invite for this.
but no, one of the theatre guys, he's like back in March, he fell on stage like with 2 shows to go with another like theatre group.
Wait,
And,
hold on. Just sorry to clarify. Fell on the stage or fell off the stage?
no, fell on the stage. Like,
Right.
it was
Amateur.
during the bows of the show that he was in. Like, I'd spotted him go off, and then he didn't come back on for like a sort of encore bit they were doing. And went, yeah, anybody else notice? Like, he's yeah.
We're missing
Did you
somebody.
notice that he like went off stage and didn't come back on? I'm standing at the end of the night like that. Like, where is this? Where is this bandit? Bandit. That's what I said. I did not say another B word.
Yes. No bleeping. No bleeping.
But no, one of the pals came out and was like, could somebody phone his mum and dad because he's fell and twisted his knee?" And
Ooh.
yeah, but like I say, I knew or thought he was coming, and then something came up and was like, "Look, I can't make it anymore." So I was like, "No, look, fair play, mate. You were coming you're supposed to be coming as a referee anyway." So I knew when you've been running about, but this was also just another. No, I know I'm stupid enough to do this, so I'm going to make sure nobody else will be stupid enough to do it. Like, one of my rules was when I first walked in, see the stage. Nobody's up on it. Nobody's doing any hardcore parkour off it. Because I know I'm stupid enough to do it. So, again, we stop somebody else being stupid by, right, what stupid things am I going to do? So,
Gravity is not your friend.
and that's how, but I've done that. And like I say, I don't think the hall's big enough for, it's a HVZ game in there. So that's how I came up with the no stage diver left behind final game.
Which you did link the video to in the final one there. And that was very, very cool to watch.
It was cool to watch. I wanted to be one of the stage divers so badly. But I was like, no, I will let everybody else have a shot first. I'll watch. And then I got to do it as what I was calling the scriptless, which were effectively our zombies. But I got to play as that. I never get the chance to do the stage diver side of it. So if Foam Flinging Fun Day 3 Foam Hard with a Vengeance gets off the ground, hopefully this time when I do no stage diver left behind, I'm like, right, I'm up there. And I'll be
The
on.
effort that you put into those puns is like shocking
Admirable.
and like
And that's with me like cutting a couple of things that I'd planned. Like, for lockdown, it was You Can't Stop the Beat. I was going to have another one night only, and that just being like, right, one tag, that's you, stone at the side. And like my very first box bin one, it was my shot, and everybody was like, "Oh, because you're not throwing away your shot like Hamilton." Like, well, yeah, that. Why do you think I took the flintlock? That
you have far too much time on your hands.
I work constant night shift out.
You do.
I'm
You
in the
work
place-
constantly night shift, yeah.
I'm in the place 8 hours, and I probably only do about 3 hours of work a night, and that's even when I'm busy.
Wait, are you a civil servant?
Even better, a technician.
Says the person who's off for how many days now exactly?
I'm not back in until the 12th of January.
Yeah,
And I
Johnny.
do more than 3 hours of work a day. I must add that. But anyway, what am I kidding? Who am I kidding? No one I
Yeah, I'm
work with's
back
going to watch this crap.
Right. What I would say for me though is my personal highlight for the year, okay, is the
See
channel.
maybe the 50 40 max thing that you got for the Diana.
We haven't fired it yet in my face.
Firing 24 darts at Adam's face, I think, is one of the highlights.
Yeah.
It should be.
Yeah, no. No, what I would say though is for me, it's the sort of a benchmark, so to speak, or a sort of like a mileage mark for the channel. This year we published our 100th video.
Woo.
Um, yeah, the
And
channel.
I've been in probably 70 of them.
Right. I think if something sparked there was some conversational topic at the time, and I basically sat and worked out that we'd produced over 3 actual days worth of content-free content. I feel like it's important to keep pointing that in just now, but there's over 72 hours worth of pointless crap. Okay. Um, but we were at the time it was like something like 94, 95 videos, and I thought, oh, hold on, we're going to hit the 100 mark, hit the 100 videos mark, and then we done it. And I didn't post about it at all, but it was just this little sort of, I'm quite proud of that. It was the channel was never going to be a big thing. It never had the intention of being a big thing. It was never about being the next big Nerf tube thing. It was very much about being a small scale, localized, purpose driven channel about providing coverage of the hobby scene for the hobby scene.
By the hobby
And
scene as well.
by the hobby scene. So, yes, exactly. And have we achieved that? Yes, absolutely. As witnessed by the fact that we're sitting here recording what is essentially episode 21 of a pointless, contentless show, which is essentially the pub chat minus the pub. Okay. And we lean really heavily into that. Okay. And I'm very proud of that. And I'm very proud of the people that I call my friends to say, this is what we've built together. Because this isn't really my channel. This is just, I'm the one that does the video editing for it. But it's everybody who's involved in the shows and everybody who has gone out and spent money on cameras, because getting a GoPro or a DJI Osmo, they're several £100s of investment, and that's money that you've taken away from your Nerf toy fund, myth toddling. Yeah, you've gone and spent it on a camera, and then trusted me with making you look good.
Yeah, Red still uses his little 50 quid one, and questionable footage arrives. But that's on my channel. So,
but
I do not solly this one with the footage unless I am the person trusted with the camera, and then I tactical R2D2 from behind cover.
Yes, and for example, the people that just take it like just a random put the hat in the head and run off and do a round, or the people who've gone out and done something. I just feel as if the community side of the thing really sort of shone through for me this year by saying, yes, people have actually got behind it and put their money where their mouth is and their time into it, and I'm really super proud of everybody for that. And I just wanted to say thank you for that.
We've also had more guests on. So obviously, my events, it's generally us three, me, Boneheed, and you. But then we've had quite a few other people join us. So we've had Josh joining us,
Jim Lee,
Jim Lee, yeah. So it's more than just us now. I think is where I'm going. It's becoming its own thing, and people it's like I mentioned it to Hugo when we recorded the last one. He's like, "Oh, I can't do it," but next event I'll join. So it's gathering a little bit of momentum, and I definitely appreciate it. Because I can't edit footage to save my life, so I very much appreciate that. But I also appreciate just this because we've discussed this that. Quite often the conversations post event are kind of a good way of kind of looking at it back in a better retrospective without it being a low point. And we touched on this in one of the videos that never got really released, about how I get very up and down mood swings with events. I've noticed this year that hasn't really happened. It's been a really good year for events. There's been a couple of issues where things haven't gone quite the way I'd liked, but that's me being a control freak on them. But I've not had the wild ups and downs that I normally get. I think a lot of that is we get to talk about it and figure it out. And when an event or a game type hasn't worked, we come up with ideas on those calls about how we could have done things, and that works. Also, so we've had some really cracking events this year. So the high point for me has just been seeing people enjoy it this year. I think I don't know whether it was really that case last year, but certainly 2023, it felt kind of like going through the motions to keep the hobby going. Whereas this year, it kind of feels like enjoying the hobby again.
I think that would be a fair statement for you to say, because I know that like we've had our sort of off call chats on Discord, and your frame, your mental frame for that one was very much you were just going through the motions and plugging along because you didn't want to lose your hobby. Whereas you come on these calls, you're going away from these calls with a much more balanced perspective. You're not going away with the single voice in your head. You're coming away with, admittedly, not necessarily saying we're encouraging voices, but we're certainly maybe less negative. You know,
I'm going to say encourages me to spend money.
Absolutely, yes. But I think that's really the sort of thing. I think this is where, again, it's just it really sort of hammers home the community side of things, where the channel really sort of is about the community, by the community, for the community, and I'm really super proud of that, and I'm really grateful to call you all friends. Apart from you, Red, you're the bane of my bloody existence. In fact, no, all of you are the bane of my. Why am I even here? Why am I even doing this? Oh, I know why. Right, right.
You are starting to sound like Hancock from Fallout 4, by the way. By the people, of the people, for the people. Go chop your nose off.
As long as he doesn't tell me another settlement needs my help.
Get out.
That's Preston Garvey.
Yeah, no.
Tell me again, Preston. Tell me again. Is another settlement needed help? Tell me. Tell me.
Yes, it's full of big booty Latinas. Okay.
The fact that you cannot permanently eliminate Preston is something that really needed to get fixed. You know.
I think you can in the Nuka World DLC if you become like King of the Raiders. He sort of turns around and he's a bit like that. Yeah,
no,
I don't
actually,
trust you
you're
anymore.
right.
But
no, I think you are right. I think you can basically go to the Nuka World DLC. You can basically become a raider. You can take over the entire thing, and you can basically have a standoff against the Minutemen. That seems a lot of hassle just to punch Preston Garvey in the face repeatedly.
Yeah.
So yeah, possibly not wanting to necessarily do that. But yes, your Fallout, Fallout, the new season came out on Amazon, and yes, it's rather good.
I'm only one episode into this season. Don't spoil it.
No,
same
refuse to
here.
watch it.
I've only seen season 1, and I've literally just caught up with.
I thought you would have watched the Fallout show.
Nope. Refuse to watch it for the reasoning that there will be something in there that is not lore accurate, and I will not be able to focus on anything else, and it will annoy me to the point where it ruins the entire show. So I will not watch it. I won't watch the Mass Effect series they're making. I won't watch any other things based on beloved IPs because they always get something wrong, and it always makes my eye twitch, and it just ruins it. So no, not watching it.
If I can interject though, Ella Purnell.
She's in other
every
things.
episode.
I mean, I didn't watch The
Witcher
Witcher
on my
either.
door right now.
Henry
Sorry,
Cavill
guys.
in it,
I'd have to call I'd have to end the call right here. She's at my door.
I mean, yeah, yeah. That's. I think it's just more the fact that it's. What I like is it doesn't take itself too seriously. You could. Conversations with Boneheed about accuracy and things, and I'm quite happy to. I remember being now off topic as such, but I remember having this that mental sort of moment when I was watching the first Resident Evil movie, with
Mila Jovovich.
Thank you, that's the one, and watching it and going, this is nothing like the Resident Evil game, and really sort of getting quite uppity about the whole thing about how it being nothing like it, and then basically just going, doesn't matter. It's somebody's interpretation of it. Just run with it. I mean, don't get me wrong,
So
the movies weren't great on the entire basis of they were somebody else's interpretation, and they still just weren't great. But the whole idea is just let people have their thing. It's
Yeah.
I've always
somebody's
seen Resident
interpretation of
Evil
it.
1.
my
You've seen
argument
it.
is more we have the definitive version of this IP. Why do we then need to spin it off into a TV show and a movie and a board game and a book and something? Do you know what I mean? Stop milking it. Just make the game. Let the game speak for
Capitalism?
itself.
It's
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It's absolutely late stage capitalism.
Red
But
can't
yeah,
say
it's
anything. Red cannot say anything anymore.
you know,
it's just yeah. But to each their own. I
yeah,
realise I'm in the minority there, but yeah.
yeah. So, okay, before we start going down the whole let's turn everything into what we're setting the world to rights, any other particular highlights back to Adam there? Because I can see him sitting in the background.
It's been a really good year. We've had a lot of games, a lot of good venues. Obviously, we've lost Anarchy, but was that such a bad thing? Because, like you say, it was very one
In the
note.
sense that
It
we've
was,
lost the venue, yes, it's not a good thing.
yeah,
In the
but
sense that in the sense that losing potential is a bad thing,
yeah.
I would say, yeah.
But obviously, we've gained District 23, gained Quarry. Unit 26 is just so welcoming. It's got the same kind of feel as Foundry had, but it's very welcoming. Eyeballs, there'll be another, but we've also gained players. So Ember's become one of the regulars. She's brought across Jade. Peter, who's one of our regulars at Hull, he's not played. Hugo from work joined us. Seemed to really enjoy it.
And I think Hugo will join us again just based on his experience at U26.
But the fact the other day he was going, when's the footage out? When's the footage out? When's the footage?
Have you linked him the HVZ one?
So it's really positive this year. The hobby's, like I say, it feels like we're not going through the motions. It feels like we're kind of growing again, and people are enjoying it. I've really enjoyed it. There's been some low points, but there always is. But it's been mostly high points. I've really enjoyed the games, like Seek and Destroy. I thought that would just be. I didn't even think it'd be that good. It's a concept I've been playing around with for years, and then it was great the first time, and I was concerned it was going to be lightning in a bottle, and then it was good again, and then it was good again, and it's just like, okay, maybe I've kind of, after 10 years of running events, I kind of got my head around running games again. So it's just been really good. I'm looking forward to next year. And we'll come to that after everyone else has. 2025 has also been really good for gear for me. So January, there was an incident at work where there was a problem. I saved the day. I got a £500 Amazon voucher from it. I went to Amazon.com and spent all that money on blasters, which is great because there were stuff that you can't get in the UK. So I got Sender, I got Strife X, I got the Torrent, I got the War Saint.
Hang on, you're speaking too fast. Boneheed can't grab them for the side
Exactly.
But
I got all these things that you couldn't get that I really wanted and had been holding off on, essentially for free, for doing what I would have done anyway. So it was really good for me that way. And it's been nice to see new blasters on the scene. So like the Maxim has come out. That is just an absolute cracker. 2S, it's one jewel. 3S, it's 60. There's things like the Cumlin. I don't like bolt action, but I'll admit, when I played with that at the Quarry, I was so much in love with it. If I'd have had the money, I'd have gone and bought one, even if I'd never used it. It's just been a really good year for gear. There's been 3D printed designs. So Hinyip's come out with all his stuff. So the Hilda Fleur is now one of my primary blasters. And it goes bzz, and it's great. The Fenrir, you feel like Michael Douglas. It's just everything's been really good this year. And I've had a lot of failures, but that's me working out the kinks, and I push my gear quite hard. Because obviously I'm running around like a just chicken getting games sorted, so I don't have time to look after my blasters mid-game. So I run my stuff hard. So yeah, it's been probably the best year for me post pandemic since 2019. And 2019 was an absolute cracker of a year. So we had the first Foam Fest. We had Foundry. I ran 2 events there. It just has the same kind of feel as that, where I was busy and I was enjoying it, and there was lots of stuff going on. I'm gutted that we've missed out on other things. So I missed out on Foam Fest because I was dog sitting. There's been all the Midland stuff, Operation Kazi, Crisis Kinkazi. I'd love to go down there because that venue looks really cool. Down south, they've obviously had that weekend event, which I've got some ideas to take from that for next year. But it's just been, for me, just really good fun. I've got time to chill and play with my friends, and we've kind of got rid of the bad elements that were kind of bringing some of the events down, and people are just much happier about things. So like, I don't think there's been anything at District 23 or Unit 26 recently where anyone's said anything bad. The worst that's happened is Hans busted his shoulder. So,
Yeah.
but that's part of the course.
Yeah.
So, it's like I say, it's just been really good year for me. And I'm hoping next year is the same. I'll let Boneheed speak.
Yeah, I mean,
Really, do we want to?
No.
Some of the events that we've had this year, yes, they have been less. That some things, I wouldn't say everything went swimmingly. There were some downsides. There were some low points, particularly sort of the quarry being hotter than the surface of the sun.
Nothing we could do about that.
No,
I don't think any of us expected it to bait as well as it did.
No. And I think as well, because of the last minute nature, again, no discredit to Fib, they did a fantastic event with the time they had. The events felt a little bit sort of last minute, shall we say, which I think some of them were, but again, thoroughly enjoyable. With a bit more planning, that could be an absolutely cracking venue. Some of the game variants didn't work as well as previous ones. You know, we talked a lot about the Deathlight event at Eyeballs. That's now evolved into the kind of meltdown game type,
and
which
Deathlight V2.
Yeah, and it you know that's a game type that's kind of evolved, and it's come from one that maybe didn't work so well into something that is now a really good one that I look forward to. I'll definitely echo the lightning in a bottle statement for Seek and Destroy. I thought that was a one and done. We'll never top that. And then we did. The second game for me was the absolute best because I had both of the modulings and neither of them knew. So I got one of them and then continued to shoot at both of them because they were stood next to each other and laughed like a pixie. It was amazing. And yeah, so, you know, Anarchy, good venue. It was a little bit out of the way for me, being in Blackpool, but it was a decent venue. Really enjoyed the games we played there. Some really good game types, including some of the one-in, one-out stuff that we've now adopted at other events. Some of the game types that we did. I can't remember the other game type we did that we took from Anarchy, actually, that you've now adopted, Adam.
It was Kill Confirmed. Thing of it's so we'd always use Kill Confirmed. It's just rather than being you hit, you're out. It's now you hit, you go back and press
death counters. Yeah.
It just keeps that game flowing, and it's the best variant of it. The other thing is Awfuls became a thing again this year.
Awfuls, yes, absolutely Awfuls. I mean, we've kind of touched on it with some of the stuff that Red said.
Awfuls needs to become a thing at every event.
Absolutely. I mean, I think one of the things that I am missing or have missed this year from the events that we've been to is that ability to just use, I got this from Tesco, it was on offer, it's rubbish, but let's have a go with it and let's have a play around.
Yeah.
And the Awfuls has allowed me to do that. I mean, I've banned a couple of my blasters now for being too good. Hammer is banned because Hammer is awesome. The blaster corn I can't use because it's a pink unicorn with flapping wings. Just look at it; it's amazing. And I can't remember what else I used in one of the previous Awfuls, but I mean my usage of the Ace of Spades at this recent event. That thing, it looks amazing. It's gigantic, but it's just woefully bad. Like literally couldn't hit Ross from about 15 feet away bad. And he thought I'd run out of shots. I pulled out my Desperado.
That's the Destiny tie-in.
Yes.
Yes, it's the Destiny hand cannon.
Yeah.
It's
It
longer
makes
than
a 6-shot look like a piddly thing, you know.
It's about the size of a rough cut with a pistol grip. The ergonomics are horrible because it wants to do that. It wants to sort of tilt forward in your hand because of the way the grip is. The hammer pull is to release the cylinder, and it's just the power of it is just woefully bad. The batteries are in the barrel like an Ultra 2, so it's just really front heavy. And it's about 3 feet long, as we've said. So it's just horrible. Love the blaster. Brilliant. It's a great sort of showpiece. It's a great war piece. It just doesn't perform particularly well or at all. But yeah, I think Awfuls is good. I've gone on a bit of a toddling spree, as is my want, with some of the stuff on sale on Blaster Time this year and bought loads of stuff that I will never use in a competitive game because it's just silly. But I like silly. So just some things that are completely impractical, completely ridiculous, but I wanted them, so I've got them. If we ever do any rounds where there are stock Nerf, I'll bring some of those out because I want to try them. I'll regret it. I appreciate it instantly, but they're great.
N series at Dishforth one time. I mean, come on. Can you get any worse than that?
Yeah, I remember that one. I remember that.
Yeah, you were the first tag I ever got with an N series dart.
I remember Al using a uppercut for Awfuls at Anarchy, and yeah, he ended up just sort of going around and sort of poking people with it instead of actually trying to shoot it because he couldn't get any hits with it. But yeah, other highlights for me, just the sheer brilliance of the comedic value thereof in all its majesty, the PP. I have gripped my PP very firmly throughout this year, as has Jim Lee. He's gripped my PP quite firmly as well. That's all good. I love the way you can just swap the barrel, get it down
49
to 1
minutes,
joule.
folk. 49 minutes is how long it took.
Which is 49 minutes longer than we thought it was, let's be honest.
50 minutes until Dongby Car makes an appearance. But yeah, just this thing. If you are on Reddit, this has become the just get a Nexus Bro. This thing is the thing everyone recommends, whether they ask for a flywheeler, whether they ask for a pistol. Everyone, just get a PP, bro. And to be honest, I understand why, because this thing's amazing. The only thing it doesn't do is a decent rate of fire on full auto, but it's just it's many things to many people.
That's because you're used to things that go brr.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I am used to
left-hand go burr.
Yes, I am used to left-hand go burr, but that thing is just an absolute monster. And it's rightly so for the money. It's a hell of a package for what, 60 quid.
Yeah, and I think that really comes out as the
MVP of the year.
Yeah,
exactly.
MVP.
Thank you for that. MVP is going to be the fact that got released to the general public and is available in stores that would not typically handle hobby grade equipments, and the fact that an average person can go in and pick that up for less than what most hobby blasters come in at and can use that competitively. And as we discussed earlier on, or as we discussed on sort of previous shows or something like that, you can, for £100, you can kit yourself out with a basic battle belt, or a basic belt, a dump pouch, several worker talons, and turn up to your first Nerf war at 160, or 100 or 1 dual one, and basically go, yeah, I'm not going to feel outgunned, which I think
one
is
dual mode.
Well, exactly, yes. It's just the idea that it made a leap forward in turning what is essentially a niche hobby, as we've already discussed, into something that's actually
Accessible.
got much more publicly accessible.
Yeah.
And now we just need to keep the momentum, so to speak.
I think
And
the thing with the
trying to
PP
get
for me
people.
as well is, though, yes, it is a major leap forward, but there have been AEBs before. They're expensive or they're unreliable.
Yeah.
And
The BK2S, I've yet to run it fully in a game
I've
because it
yeah,
breaks.
I've seen many people running it and they spend half their games unjamming it and whatever. The PP, you pick it up, it just works. 60 quid, 160 FPS off the shelf, and it just works. It's a hell of a technical achievement from X shot of all companies that are, usually one of the names that people don't rate in terms of phone fleet or had or didn't historically
It
rate.
didn't historically. This last 2 years have kind of turned the corner.
But I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
they have also done, the newer stuff like the long shot, and of course,
Fury
we'll
X.
we'll not
think-
mention it, but yeah, the Fury X again.
No,
For what you get for your money, 15 quid. What a blaster! It's
Yeah.
15 quid.
it was
hey,
10
you're
on-
in with the big boys playing Half Dark Hero.
yeah, exactly.
the
It was
the
10 on Amazon
long
the other
shot
day.
when the long shot came out, it was quite a big thing, and then half an hour later, people were noticing the
Yeah.
plunger
Cracked.
casing was cracking, and that was like, oh, surely somebody must have spotted that during development, and then very quickly people came out with very tidy solutions for it, which are still just to do it at a very reasonable price. It's like what, £10 I think it is or something to fix the plunger tube.
Yes, I mean, if you get
Unofficial sponsor UK Nerf War does the replacement plunger tube for a fiver, I think.
Fiver plus £5 delivery.
RedDiamond shilling for everybody here.
Yeah, I mean, you can buy if you get the blaster at the right price. I think they're selling them. Someone on Facebook posted you can get the anime version high powered for 15 quid at the moment from I think it's a supermarket. So 15 quid
PG Max.
for that blaster. Yeah, and then 10, 15 quid in parts, new barrel, new plunger tube. You can get that, and maybe a spring for I think about 10 euros from Blaster Time. 40 quid, you've got a 200 quid, 200 Yeah. Oh yeah, and you've got a 200 FPS blaster for 30, 40 quid. It's not the most reliable.
30,
it
40
will
quid
break
just in delivery to get that.
Yeah. It's expensive for the delivery, but for that price, you're not going to get more a 200 quid. 200 FPS blaster. And okay, it's not the most reliable. It will probably break after a while. But having read some of the reviews of the new, I can't remember what it's called, the S400, the bullpup. I can't remember the names. It's ZWQ.
Zebra. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, the internals of that are very flimsy, and it's not.
I've heard mixed on that.
Yeah.
But again, even at the price of the Long X, 15 quid that breaks.
Oh no, we'll get another one.
Oh no,
transfer
spare
the parts
for my second one that's going to arrive.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, you're not going to get the long shot up to 300 maybe, but as Red says, it's just replaceable. It's cheap, it's replaceable, it's easy to fix.
It's
and it's so simple as well. Yeah.
And this really is where Tartan should be bringing out the Porsche 911 of Nerf this year, the Diana.
It's for Vespa this year.
It is, yeah. It is.
Or next year, I should say.
Diana's fixed, by the way.
This year, but not really for us,
Yeah.
You got a functioning battery door then.
Have you fixed it?
Yeah, I bought a new battery door because I couldn't find my purple translucent one. It's in a drawer in the spare bedroom somewhere. I don't know where. But yeah, I just replaced the one that got broken at U26.
Yeah,
so it's
the Narnia style bedroom that you have,
It's more, I've got 6 drawers full of random bits and pieces of the several blasters I've got in pieces. That's in one of them.
See the door to this spare room? It isn't blue with white writing and police written at the top, is it?
It isn't, no. Surprisingly, it normally looks like that. But we're decorating at the moment, so
the only reason it isn't blue with police writing on it is because he would argue about the accuracy of things.
I've never been a
Not more
Whovian,
accurate.
actually, so maybe not. Um, but yes, definitely think this has been a good year for X-Shot. There's been some good entries from Dart Zone as well. Some excellent entries from Dart Zone, the Volcanic, the Vulcan,
The MPX.
the MPX, the Aeon, the new Aeon,
Yeah, no one has that
Vector,
because, yeah.
the
I
Omnia.
think we also had developments in terms of dart availability. I believe the Saber T-Dart
Yes.
came out this year,
Yeah,
if I remember right.
I got 3
Um,
boxes for Quarry and I've still got 2.5 left.
same. Yeah,
Saber. So there's developments and achievements in terms of blasters and blaster components, but
There's
also darts
also
itself.
the spearmint darts.
Yep.
They were very nice.
And
I
So,
for
yeah,
the
second-
cheapskates amongst us, the X-Shot darts, you can go into Smiths and buy half darts.
can
Which
you
is a
now?
great thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
I think it's
didn't know you could
it's
do
the
that
air
now.
pocket ones that you get.
Yeah,
But
it's the but you can get the red half darts as well.
Cool.
And like the 100 packs, I think they're about a tenner. But still,
Ooh.
running late for an event, haven't had time to get your workers sorted. Jump into
£7
Smiths.
at the moment.
But on the subject of workers, we must mention the channel's second unofficial sponsor, All the Darts. They have supplied every dart I fired this year, I'm pretty sure. Apart from the GOS darts I had on left over from last year. I bought probably 15 boxes of worker Gen 3s from them. I've got some Saber tees, and yeah, the delivery's fantastic. That's where I got my PP from. He did make a mistake in selling the PP. He sold the blaster for £60 and then charged 8 for delivery, and he should have charged 9 because that would have made it 69, which is nice.
57 minutes, folks.
57 minutes. But yeah,
He's getting better. At least it's into double figures now, the time.
yeah, so All the Darts has been absolutely fantastic delivering stuff for me, particularly helping me toddle lots of meth.
There's another good thing that's came out in 2025. We've got another UK supplier
Yep.
of stuff since
Blaster Smiths went.
Blaster Smith. Yes, that's the name I was looking for. Since we kind of lost them.
And Boss
as a
Attack
supply-
went, and Nerf Shack kind of, he used to be the main contact for worker in the UK. So
And we've lost Black Raisins, which I think we're not going to talk about.
kind of. They're still functioning, but not functioning. Yeah.
There's nothing available on their website, so I suspect they've gone semi-under, but
yeah,
I haven't.
It's the nature.
It's
the nature of businesses. It's the nature of business. You've got to have enough products to sell. You've got to have enough income coming in. You've got to have. There's so many variables, and you can't control them. And it's not as if you're selling water, a resource which is readily available, but also necessary by everybody. You're selling a niche product for a niche hobby. It's very much disposable income for giant kids, and therefore there's always going to be a looming spectre of failure in the background for any business, and it's difficult.
They invested in a really expensive showroom. That was their downfall. And then there was some issues with police, and
there were some controversies before I joined the hobby that I constantly get told off about on Reddit, but never mind.
But what we'll do is we'll not say anything, because in that way nobody can say anything, and we can all continue to enjoy our pub style chat.
But yeah,
plus they have much better lawyers than us.
But yeah, so but obviously AK Blaster Mods Kit has been wonderful for us. He sorted me out with some great stuff.
Third unofficial sponsor.
Blaster Time. We've toddled a lot of meth through Blaster Time.
Unofficial sponsor of Boneheed.
All of the above, mate. All of the above.
But yeah,
official crack dealer.
Amazon.com.
Obviously, Fib have done a lot of prints for people this year. I was surprised he didn't lift up the Crush
The Crush is in the other room. That's why I've only got my regular use stuff that I've not actually
Well,
updated
go on,
because
and
we're
if you're
still.
shilling for everybody else, go and get the damn blaster.
If you
Go on.
insist. Let me go and interrupt Imaginary Fiance for a second.
But yeah, like I say,
He turns off. You notice he turns off the camera. You notice it, right?
That's because she doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Turns off
it
the
has
camera.
been a really good year for stuff. A lot of events on. Like I say, there's been multiple things per month generally for people to go to.
Mhm.
And generally something where you don't have to travel, something where you do have to travel. So we've had a lot of gear. Obviously he gets the Toddle and pretty stuff like that. So yeah, like I say, I don't think we could have asked for much better this year. Obviously more high FPS would have been nice. But yeah, so should we go on to next year?
I'd quite happy to do so. Is there anything else just in the 2025 category? I've spoken a bit about the channel itself there. I
You haven't really talked about Scotland games. So you've obviously got FDT Pro,
mhm.
you've got the Garden games.
Yeah, well, let me take a wee minute about that. Okay, so
Yeah,
what is it?
because
We done 3, 4, 5, 5.5, 6, and 7. Okay, so Jozo is
a great designer.
Jozo is a fantastic person who sort of appeared randomly, introduced himself, and basically went, "Hey, I've got a massive garden. Do you guys want to all sit and come and play games? Hell yes, please." And then just super humble, super kind, super enthusiastic individual who's got all the time in the world to sit and discuss tech stuff. Okay, and also puts on wherever possible low um a sort of a one dual high enthusiasm, zero consequence event wherever possible. Okay. And
The less we talk about the one where he fell over and we all Mary Pooh's shot out her ain eye.
We don't have enough time to discuss every time Tartan fell over, Red.
No, that's wasn't
It's
Tartan.
Joe's though.
This was not Tartan.
This was when Jozo took a tumble, and it looked a sore one. But no, yeah, that was most unfortunate there. But yeah, and you know, like Adam has said about taking game types, looking at what worked, breaking it down, rebuilding it. Okay, he every time that we go up there, the layout's slightly different. There's new game types. There's printed props and whatnot there, and every single one of them has been a fantastic success. The only thing that's ever sort of counted against it has been the somewhat volatile Scottish weather. But
Where
we
if it
make
ain't
whiskey from
raining,
it,
it ain't
so
training.
it's not all bad, you know. Um, but every single event, every single garden games has been fantastic. Okay, and there's a huge group of people. I say huge group. We're talking. I think there must be somewhere in the region of about a pool of about sort of something like 20 players that we can come from. We've got this sort of what we would classify as sort of the FTD crew. Okay, you're talking, Spectre, Red, myself, Sarah, Paul, wee Jamie, Nerber, and his lad Joshua. But you've also got Jozo's family, his brother Gerard, his dad Charlie, and their friends Riley, Andrew, and Daniel and a couple other people who's I'm going to apologise on myself if I've missed you. Nothing personal, just I can't remember everybody. But there's
I'm not much more help. Yeah, they've
yeah,
sort of done a couple of circuits and they went that way.
yeah. But there's like and those we've gone up to their events and they've come down and participated in the pro events, which are fantastic. And where Dave and Al sort of ran the first pro at the depot, and it was very clearly ran at a loss. Oh, Daz, there we go. Let's bring Daz in. There we go. Let's just give Daz a second to shut.
Where is he tonight? Is he at work?
I don't know. Mic check, you're on mute, mate.
No, not at work. I'm in the basement.
Ah, very good.
Ah,
So we were just sitting chatting just now about various different bits and pieces there. I'll finish what I was saying just now whilst you get a chance to get yourself the seat and the comfy and you can join in there. Right, the first pro at the depot was but I believe very much run at a loss financially. And then there was a little bit of hesitance as to whether or not we're going to be able to continue to run them if they're costing Dave and Al money. And then with Joshua and his lot coming along and being able to reach out and get a few more other people there, we've managed to get it to approximately 20 players an event, which I believe covers or either totally covers or almost covers the cost of everything, which is fantastic because it then gives a higher FPS event in Scotland that can run with a degree of regularity, which then continues to support things, which I think is vastly important. So we've got, the much bigger events at the Pro Series. We've got the one dual, very informal events at the Garden Games, and I think between those two, I would like to say the Scottish scene is kind of safe. I'm not having any concerns regarding the continued viability of the Scottish scene, because it's something where I wouldn't necessarily say I've been concerned about the scene folding in on itself, but there's certainly been a sort of, it's a case
shrinking.
of how do we continue to push and grow something when the various complications are, for example, how do we pull the money together to go and hire venues that are asking for four-figure hiring sums, which can be a little bit insulting, shall we say? But yeah, so between the Pro 3, 4, and 5, and the Garden Games, I'm super stoked about where we're going to go in 2026, and I absolutely look forward to it.
One thing we've discussed before is how do you get those players from the terminal infection, dads, into a pro scene? And obviously the PP helps.
Yes,
you can go get a PP at 50, well, currently 60 quid, but down at 42 sometimes.
Mhm.
Couple of mags, dump pouch, and you are suitable for that 160 pro. So I think there needs to be a bit of push somewhere to get those players in, but obviously Al must have some ideas, and maybe will.
I believe he has, and credit as was previously waxed a bit lyrical on the Pro 4, Pro 5 episode. Al really knocked it out of the park for the Pro 4 and Pro 5 game types. As I said, the Nakatomi Plaza round was to me the highlight of the year. And again, no disrespect to any of the game organizers or any of the games I've attended to. It's just that the absolute adrenaline surge for that last game was just like there isn't a drug that's as good as this feeling right now. So yes, well done, Al. Now, Darren, whilst you're in the basement doing nefarious things there, how do you feel about chipping in with your 2025 highlights, and then we'll move on to 2026 plans? And I'm very interested in hearing what Fib have got to say about that.
Yeah, okay. Highlights. Varied, I guess, for different reasons. Obviously, different events we've been to. I've been, or I should say, we've enjoyed the varied of events. It's nice to have, compared to like previous year, a lot more vary in the events that have been going on. So yeah, I mean, the highlight really, I suppose, apart from individual, the odd individual event here and there, or particular game, etc., which there's probably too many to go on about. You could be different reasons, and that you could probably be here for hours. I'm the highlight for me probably will be, the venue and game sort of like scene getting back to, or I mean, I know we're nowhere near by any means, but getting back to before obviously the COVID thing and before it all collapsed. I don't know, we're all in this hobby to fling foam and act like complete buffoons and old children. And it's been, at first after COVID, that was a struggle and it was hard work, and it was you only got the chance really if you were prepared to travel, like for the likes of Beaumont Tour were doing events and getting them back on track, but they were all the way down south. Same with FDT, they managed to get back up and running. Not immediately, obviously, but they managed to get back up and running with their 100 FPS games. But again, it's all the way up north. So Spartan running with Dishfith again. Although obviously to the back end of this year, that's tailed off a bit for personal reasons and that, which hopefully we can look at other alternative solutions to getting the Dishfith thing back up, but with maybe a different avenue. Him getting that back up and running, or games running on there again, and obviously Adam with his excellent events that he does at the various indoor venues that he's managed to secure. It meant that the nerfing scene was getting more populated, which is great, which is always good. Yeah, initially it was always the same usual faces you saw, the usual culprits, or usual idiots, whichever way you want to refer to them.
Suspects is how I know we describe it.
Yeah.
I prefer the term troublemaker.
The last couple of games were really enjoyable, not only from a gaming playing venue point of view, but from the new faces on the scene that we saw. Obviously, Adam managed to get a few newbies down to his last event, which is always good to see, and they look like they absolutely fell into it, like they've been doing it for years, as it were. We had, fortunately, everything aligned, and we were able to make it through to Pro 5, which, all right, to Al and the like, all those players may not be new, but to me and Ross and that, there was more new faces there, which was good to, be able to play alongside or against, whichever the case may be. But it's just good. It's nice to see that. Hopefully, this year is sort of like the direction that it's hopefully going in again, and starting to build and carry a bit of traction, hopefully.
Now, the nice thing is, I said pretty much the same half an hour ago. So it's nice to hear someone else kind of echoing it. That it feels like we're back on the right kind of track again.
Yeah.
So,
and don't get me wrong, we're nowhere near the sort of levels that we had. We had the luxury of having before the COVID thing, but it's significantly better than it was when they first lifted and we first started up again. But it's gained more and more traction through the year, certainly this year. So hopefully, with the momentum we've already got, we hit next year already running, as it were, and hopefully next year we'll get even better again.
Absolutely, yeah. That was something that we'd been discussing around. Sometimes it felt as though we were all constantly moving in the right direction. There's just occasionally 2 steps forward, 1 step back, just by things outside of our control there. But we're still constantly moving forward. We're still constantly developing and regaining ground that was lost due to circumstances well outside of our control. So if we're relatively discussed out 2025, why don't we move on to 2026? So
Onwards and upwards.
We've got two hosts with us. So which one of yous wants to go first about what your
I was
plans
going to
are?
discuss the gear first because
Oh, right.
2026 has the Vespa coming, and that has the
Yes.
opportunity to really change things up.
Oh yes.
Does it really though? Just to play devil's advocate, does it really? Because it's basically
no,
just
It's
it-
Diana,
it's the Diana.
but bigger.
Yeah.
it's the Diana in an SMG. I think it's going to have the same kind of impact the FDL3 did in the 130 games. So 2018, 2019, all the what I would call pro players got an FDL3. And there was kind of a bit of an arms race as a result. It's why I got my ultrasonic, because I wanted to compete in that kind of thing. What I've seen as an organizer is all the pros now have a Diana, and I'm expecting the Vespa to kind of overtake that next year. So the pro players are going to get a Vespa, and obviously it's brushless. It's got the B car built in. Aaron Blinks has put up a video today where he's shown the accuracy. Now, outside, I would have said it sucks. But if any put the 1.2 gram darts in or indoors, and they were like a pattern about that big, and it was like, yeah, that's exactly why you buy a brushless SMG.
Yeah.
So I think the Vespa, it's not going to be a game changer, but it is going to be one that we might need to keep an eye on, because it could create that bit of a barrier between new players who might be picking up, say, an MPP or a Maxim, and then you've got 10 players with Vespers, and how do you balance that? So it'll be an interesting thing, and I think we just need to keep an eye on it.
Yeah,
but
I think
obviously,
my thoughts on that. Sorry, go on, Adam. Finish your.
Obviously, it's delayed, so we've got a bit of time to figure out, based on what Singapore are seeing, how it's going to play out. But yeah, I think the Diana has the benefit of the players who run it are generally responsible enough to know when it's OP.
Yeah.
And I know you've done it, and I know Darren's done it before, where you've turned it down, you've gone and picked up something else because you realised you're playing hard than everyone else. So I appreciate that as an organizer. So it'll just be an interesting one. Plus, it's really pretty, and I want one, but I cannot justify £400 worth of gear.
Yeah.
It's again. I've probably hinted at this before. I've always viewed the Diana as like a Porsche 911. You can appreciate the engineering behind it.
Yeah.
You can appreciate what it is, but for somebody, it just doesn't target the I must have this because of reasons for me.
Yeah.
So we've probably got the Vespa is going to now be if
I would have gone with the Bugatti later on.
oh well,
Yeah.
just try to keep it.
I wouldn't say this is a vague one as such,
range, but now I
because
can't remember them.
this for me. Yes, it is considerably better than anything in its class. Is it the best blaster available? No, it's not. The reason be a couple of reasons. Well, first of all, this is a Gen 1, so it's a slightly worse version, but it's a pistol. It uses proprietary mags, and it's at 1 joule. That's limiting for me as a primary. It's good for games where the 1 joule limit is the maximum, and as we saw at a couple of the U26 games, 3 or 4 Dianas on one team makes it very unbalanced if no one else has got one. And that's when I put this away, because I felt like I was dominating. I switched it to single fire for the rest of the single auto for the rest of the game, and then I put it away because it just felt like I got such a. It's the the Falklands War. The Argentinian army had got ships that could shoot 8 miles and were 5 miles off the coast. We'd got ships that could shoot 15 miles and we were 10 miles off the coast. So it was, just kicking them square in the nuts from a great distance. This thing is the leader in the arms race. It's probably not the best analogy, but
No, I think it
one
worked
of
very well.
one of
Actually.
these can really change a game.
Yeah.
If you've got 2 or 3 people using Diana and using them well on a team against a team that don't have a Diana, it does show. And I don't think there's any other blaster like that I can think of, whereby one particular blaster in a game is so
Now, what
The
I would say,
overpowered.
though,
FDL3 was at launch.
what I would say though is, like, for example, we have Pro 4, Pro 5, we have a 160 soft cap. I run the Diana at 145, and I don't feel outgunned.
No.
And for me, I have, opinions may vary about this, but I have the superior maneuverability of pistol against having a shouldered blaster. And I have the ability to then also have a secondary weapon. For example, the Mayday Mark II with the room clearing barrel, which is more, to whom this concerns, please. Just fire it through a doorway and it's somebody's getting hit. Whereas having a shouldered weapon up here, whereas having a lighter thing with a pistol, it's a trade-off. It's apples and oranges. It's your own personal preference. I would say, whilst part of me would like to get it because I do genuinely love the Diana, and part of me also says no, I'm quite happy just to keep the Diana. And I would, for example, say spend another £50 on getting a couple of extra 40 wad shells for the Mayday, and just running those two, because I would still argue that you could be competitive against a team with Vespas without having to have the arms race effect, because you just play to your strengths, which is I have 2 hands.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I did have lots and lots of fun at the game, the U26 before, where I was running a Worker Nightingale 2 in each hand, the left hand go burr event.
Yeah.
That was infinite fun. That was fantastic, and I think the Nightingale is another one of those blasters that it just. I think the other thing about Diana, which is, I'd hesitate a little bit because it's very expensive kit, but it's a blaster you can just give to someone who's never held a blaster before. You just set it up, put the switches in the right position, and there you go. Take that, off you go, run with it. Because you're not having to hold a second trigger. It's literally you pull your trigger, it shoots your dart. Even if you've got it on full auto, Diana go burr. It works. You're not having to worry about any silly mechanics, any silly, pressing other buttons. And Jim Lee said as well, that's one of the reasons why he liked the Nightingale so much. It's because it's just pew, pew, pew. You're not having to mess about holding other buttons down. And I think with the thing for me with the Vespa is, it is a big Diana. It's a rifled version of Diana, but it's got the variable rate of fire. It's got the variable FPS. It does so much more. And I'll be honest, it stopped me coveting an FD. The SBF? Because I was seriously considering an SBF. I'll probably still get one, but I think the Vespa's going to fill a lot. It's going to fill the hole that the FDL. No, SBF. Would have filled, as in that variable. I've got the thing I can turn up and down. I can use at any game. Admittedly, it's not as pretty as the SBF, but it definitely fills.
I think the Vespa is very pretty.
I prefer the SBF because I like the look at the kind of
Scorpion-esque
look of it.
Yeah.
I like it. I just like how the SBF looks. Even the bullpup is pretty to me, and I like bullpups. But yeah, it does the same job, albeit injection molded rather than 3D printed. So there's that aspect as well, which makes it a little bit more. What's the word? It's going to be a difference in potential quality and potential failure points, just because it's factory made rather than printed, where there are likely potential failure points.
Yes, so for me, do I think the Vespa is going to be a game changer? To a certain extent, no, I don't think so. Is it going to change playing dynamic? That it may do, because to a certain extent, not to the same degree, because obviously it is still reasonably expensive. It's still, I think, Blaster on its own, I think, is still 165 or 175 quid.
Yeah.
But I think it could be a gameplay dynamic changer.
Yeah.
Whereas, because effectively the Vespa, oh my God, here we go. I'm knocking it all over now. The Vespa, I think, is going to be the PP of the AEG world. Whereas people initially, if you wanted an AEG, your own for a long while, your only options was Sweetheart Storm or a inverted scales. Sweetheart Storm is 350 pound plus, and inverted scales were hard to get hold of. And then along came, obviously, BK came out, but as everyone's finding out, it's hit and miss as to how reliable they were. And then obviously out came the PP, which was a game changer in more as the game dynamic. A lot, and an AEB suddenly became a lot more affordable for your average player. I think, if anything, the Vespa may be of similar, but of the brushless world, for example, like the PP has been. Yes, it's still 165, 175 pound blaster, but it's not up in the neck of woods of 400 pounds or 400 pound plus like the FDL3 and the SBF were. SBF is not quite the same as the FDL. You literally could only get the FDL from Jesse and Jackie while they were still in business. The SBF, you can go to Gavin Fuzzy and buy the kit. He's the only one that you can get the kit from, but you can save money a little bit by getting the kit from him and then printing your own
yourself. Yeah.
The shell in that. But then along comes potentially the Vespa, which can do all of the SBF can do, albeit a little bit more fixed. Albeit maybe a little bit more fixed if you don't get the programmable screen with it, and if you get, because it's still adjustable. It's only 3 presets. It's only 2 burst modes unless you get the add-on screen, which then makes it almost infinitely adjustable FPS from its lowest setting, which I believe is 43, up to top whack of 180. And you can basically set it to any FPS in between that. And then obviously, and it opens up, as obviously the Aaron Plink's video touched on, it opens up more burst mode options from single to double.
5, yeah.
So then 3, 4, and 5. So I don't think it's going to be a game changer as such. I think it just might make play. It might make it more accessible to a wider audience of necessarily not accessible players, which would otherwise wouldn't get an SPF. Well, I mean, you can't get FDLs now, but wouldn't get an SPF because of the cost involved.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you went down the route of the logistics of sourcing the hardware kit and then having to get someone, or if you haven't got the capabilities of printing yourself, then having to get somebody else to print them for you. This is effectively an SPF in a smaller, compact, pre-made package. Buy it, put a battery in, put a mag in, bump, for away you go.
And I think it supplements the amount of Diana use we see in the hobby as well. People that have Dianas will get a Vespa just because the same mags. The mags are interchangeable. You've then got a primary and a secondary that use the same mag ecosystem. So that I think is good for me. And the fact that it reduces the amount of unobtainium that you need for the FDL or the SBF. It's made in a factory. It's injection molded. It's actually you can go to our website and buy it in its entirety. Yes, it's expensive. It's not going to be an entry level blaster for people, but for the people who want something with that little bit extra customization, with that little bit extra options, and that little bit more things that you can do with it if you like. It's there. And if you love your Diana, you're going to likely love the Vesper just because it's a bigger Diana.
Now, don't get me wrong. I mean,
Three Dianas now. The fact you have to pause.
Yeah, 3. I think. Yeah,
so that you've got a Gen 1 and a Gen 2 at least. I know that.
I think I've got 2 Gen 1s and a Gen 2. My usual which is now red and black. That's the Gen 2. My original Gen 1 has been reskinned into the purple and limey green slide, but the non-opaque see-through version, which is what my Gen 2 came as, and I reskinned them into the red and black, and my original Gen 1 got reskinned into that, and then I've got a standard teal top Gen 1, because at one of the first anarchies we played, I was playing for a bit, and I thought I'd killed my Diana, had a strop, and went online and bought one there and then got home and fixed it. And I've completely lost my train of thought that I was going down.
But yeah, I think it's just something we need
to be a part of this channel.
We just need to keep an eye on it. But like you say, it probably isn't game changing, but it might change some dynamics. But I think the kind of people who are going to buy it, the kind of people who already have a Diana, and those players at my events certainly are ones that I trust to know when the being OP. So
yeah, I think most of the time as well, the players that will be buying the Vespa are the ones that don't necessarily mind swapping teams mid event. Like myself, Darren, and Ross are often swapped around and changed and moved just for balancing teams and getting the opportunity to shoot at each other if nothing else. And the 3 of us are likely to be getting the Vespa. We're like, I wouldn't mind going against either of those guys with respective similar blasters. So yeah, I think, like you say, it changed the dynamic of the teams. It might involve a lot of swapping around to get balance right, but I don't think it's going to make it so that if you've got a Vespa, you're going to win.
No, but like I say, just something we need to keep an eye on. But yeah, so that's
players, 10% gear.
Yeah.
So that's gear-wise. I don't think there's any other big releases coming gear-wise. Not that I've seen from.
No, not aware of.
Nothing.
We're
probably going to see like another dart type or something come out.
The fact is, we all use half darts because it's easy to carry. It works in all our blasters.
I meant like a. We had
a
like
new version of
at one point with the T darts. You're probably going to find there was a closed cell sort of
the Dragon ones. Yeah,
that was it. Yeah,
they're really expensive and great when they're good, but terrible when they're bad. Like Ultra. But
it's good. There was the can't remember the name of them, but was Miles no selling, but basically I want rid of these because I've got too many of them.
Yeah, I've got 5 boxes.
Of the Azure Dragons.
Yeah, I've got 5. It was selling over like £3 at the Foam Fest stall, so I picked up like 5 boxes. So
I'll
I've got like 5. Done. Yeah, sure. I mean, I was just keeping them. They were £3, and they were we got Irving his speed dart belt for something like a tenner, and Irving loves that belt. I got my whole H harness rig, and he's like, "No, I'll just use the speed dart belt. Fine, whatever works." It's like as much as there was the sort of reason why that entire sale happened there. Yeah, I've got 5 boxes. I'll chuck one to you. It's fine. But yeah, just avoid the other basically sort of like somewhere in product development cycle. There's probably another dart type.
Yeah.
Worker's going to probably come out with a Gen 4 that's.
I think Darren might also have some. Or are they sabers?
No, they're dragons.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to see the sabers usable in flywheelers like Diana, because you can't use the sabers in Diana. You can't use them in some of the other shorter magged flywheelers. I don't think you can use them in
Yeah, you can't
Nightingales.
use them in Nightingale because I had that issue at Quarry when the Hildefleur died.
Yeah.
I
I
couldn't
think
run
Um,
anything.
on the one hand, you don't want to say to companies, no, you can't produce these products because we need to have universal darts. I think it's one of these things where you really sort of sit and thinking, what does this actually add? What does this particular product add to the ecosystem? What does it add to the player experience? And is your lovely new shiny 1.3 gram dart, which shall fly 0.5% more accurately, worth it if you're going to potentially goose X amount of players because you happen to print them in, for example, a very similar color scheme to an existing dart type? Did nobody pick that up during the development cycle? Come on.
We've got a gap on the head. You can tell with that. That's why
This
I
is
like
coming for the blind guy.
spearmints. I like spearmints for that reason because they
got a
are
little T
so
on them.
obviously different.
Yeah.
But spearmints,
Whether
really nice foam, a softer head. 1
That's what she said.
1.2, 1.1, 1.1, I think. But they're really good. And what I did for
You
Unit
didn't notice that one.
26, I did. I was just ignoring it. What I did for
And
Unit
I didn't want to
26,
particularly work out the timing for how long it taken for that one.
I did half of my mags with spearmints and half my mags with worker Gen 2s, 3s. So that's what I did.
The only downside I can potentially see with the spearmints, apart from some blasters ripping the heads off them, I don't know how good they will be when we're playing outside in the grass, because spearmint darts are green, and grass, as we all know,
Blue?
is green. Greeny blue. It's
Teal.
I think
But yeah,
on the
anyway.
shade of
subject of
green.
darts, what I have seen is a move away from community dart pools by what would loosely be called hobby players. Okay.
Yes.
Um,
But that's a lot down to them running Dianas, where you want good quality darts,
mhm.
or PPs, where you want good quality darts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And therefore, from a business perspective, the fact that companies are going to be selling more fresh darts is always going to be good for their bottom line. It does sort of move it more towards what would be something more common to, say, Airsoft,
Yeah.
where your BBs are one and done. That's them, they're just lost, and I do wonder how, for something like, for example, the PP and the Dianas, which are more or less if you want to get into the hobby and you've got disposable income, get one of these two, knowing that they essentially come with a price tag of at least £10 per game, if not necessarily per round of a game, okay, then I do wonder if that is going to be a talking point for the future.
Yeah.
Where, we're going to have potentially players saying, well, I don't want to particularly have to spend £100 off my blaster money on buying
New darts every
new
month.
darts.
Yeah.
Not necessarily every month, but for example, Sarah and I forked out for 3K's worth of worker 1.2s from all the darts at the latter half of this year, and we've used maybe 1,000 of them between the various different games that we've attended, and we don't mind because, like I said, we're dual income, no kids, but we're in a very lucky position, of being dual income, no kids, and I just wouldn't want there to be a unforeseen negative impact about having the drive for fresh darts. But at the same point in time, you can also just throw one of like your worker nightingales into your bag with half a dozen mags, because those things will run on anything. You can,
Well,
or those will fire darts that are loaded in backwards. They don't care. Like, yeah, whatever. You're going out the barrel.
I'm going to say I've done that myself.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, I'll always provide a pool because I'll be taking it for myself. So whether it's for full pull or a small one, that's beside the point. But yeah, I think it's something we might need to look at.
If I can see a defense in the PP though, I think I've had
You've got to defend
failures.
your PP. Yeah. How many minutes?
Too many.
101.
Yeah,
Sorry, carry on, Red.
From not the usual sources that I was going to say, I think I've had 2 dart failures or 2 blaster failures that can go. That was the darts, but even at that, it was just they sort of folded up into the barrel.
Yeah.
So
I think
there hasn't been a sort of oh crap that has completely goosed this thing. It was still annoying because it done it like right at the last game of the day. And like, yeah.
I think it also
for long range shots.
Yeah, I think it also depends on the venue and the game organizer that's running that. Because, for example, the numerous events we've been to of Adams, we've very seldom used our own darts. We've usually got them in the car as a just in case, but very, very seldom. I mean, the last time we went to Adams' last game at Unit 26, I was running the Diana and the SPF as per usual for pretty much all my games nowadays. That's my go-to, and I had no issues whatsoever because, again, like I said, it depends on the game organizer and their pool. Now I know Adam is, as far as his pool, he's very vigilant.
I
on
try
top
and
of it.
keep on
And,
it. Yeah.
Yeah, you've usually got a really good dart pool. When we went to FDD Pro 5, we forgot our darts. We forgot our supply of halves, so we had to use Big Owls, and you could tell the difference in the dart pools. You could tell that they've been a lot more hammered, a lot more well used. Obviously, and obviously when you think about it, then yeah, it's obvious because obviously he runs FDT, he runs a lot of the shopping malls, which has a lot of kids, which will fling darts here, there, and everywhere, and then charge and trample all over them. So they're going to get squished and well used. The SPF had a massive dart jam while we were at FDT 5, and I managed to get the loan of a proddy stick, pushing the darts back through down the barrel, and just trying to grab purchase on the heads and push them into an empty magwell. I pushed out and dropped out of the magwell 8 dart heads. Where it had put them, I had no idea. But in the cage and the barrel, because you couldn't see any down the magwell, there was 6 darts.
I did that with a Swift the other day that had been at the quarry where Ethan used it. He'd managed to get 4 where literally all the foam was compressed within the stem of a dart. That's how squished he'd managed to get them. So
I no longer feel bad at having to dig 2 out when I got home after Pro 5.
Yeah.
Remind me when we stop recording. There's something from Reddit that you should all see, but it's very much a cursed image. And yeah, I'll
not say for recording.
It's not saying. Well, this person's been very foolish. Let's put it that way. Anyway, moving swiftly on.
Are we still talking about a dart, or is this one of your particular subreddit things?
No. It's on the Nerf subreddit. My philosophy on dart usage. I always pre-pack my darts and I bring new darts, mainly because yes, I do sometimes use Diana or a PP or something that prefers new darts. But my philosophy with it is I'm using darts that I know are reliable, but I will always then leave them for the game organizers to then put into their dart pool because that might be 100, 200 darts that they can retire from the really worn end. And it's gonna then okay, they're not brand spanking new darts, but if someone who's sort of new to the game or doesn't know much about dart quality and whatnot, they could then pick up my darts. They've only been fired once. They're going to be much better quality than something that's been to the last 6 or 7 games and is squished to hell. So that's why I generally pre-pack and bring my preload and bring my own darts.
to that
think-
end, that's something that actually Jozo floated as an idea, I think, at the start of this year, where it was the dart pool for the Garden Games was getting a bit worn, and there was sort of like, what do we do about this? Because essentially, we are all now using sort of higher end blasters. We tend to want to have the fresh, reliable darts there, and it was very quickly agreed on. Well, let's all chip in and buy essentially fresh darts, and essentially people chipped in. And I think the whole idea was he would review it after, I think it was 3 games, not 3 games, 3 events. Okay. So essentially, what that meant is in terms of how we tended to run our frequency of events, it basically meant twice a year the dart pool would be replaced. And these were darts that weren't getting frequently stood on because we tended to do dart sweeps quite quickly. Maybe every 2 games or something. We would do dart sweeps, so they were getting picked up and reused and picked up and reused. But it was just the whole idea that I just think that maybe the days of the whole really worn out community pools are sort of going to be left in the past,
Yeah.
and more frequently replaced pools are going to be something that we're going to be seeing moving forward if various different, groups up and down the country or around the world aren't already doing that, Just an
Well, I
idea.
think FTT's in a good position on a dart front. They can just turn around to Dartzone and say, listen, any chance we can get more in? And aye, on you go, lads.
The wonderful thing of having an actual official sponsor.
Yeah. But
That is not shilling, by the way, anybody watching this. We're not shilling for sponsors. That would be a bad idea. So,
I am. Do you know how expensive it is to run a show?
I know how expensive it is to run a game.
okay, so with
2026 events.
yes. Now, yeah, basically open. Darren, Adam, as our event organisers here, thoughts moving forward for 2026.
So I've got 2 on the calendar. I've got Unit 26 in end of February. That is full, I think. And I've got my birthday event at Dishforth. So we're finally getting back to Dishforth. That is as long as you're chill and as long as you're chill and happy to play and have fun, join us.
An invitation.
So they're the 2 I've got on my calendar. I want to get back to eyeballs because the Hull guys have never been. But I floated end of January as a date, but Josh is moving, so I'll push that back and do it sometime later in the year.
But in Feb.
Somebody was saying about a Valentine game. That was Tartan.
I think there's a point. Right? Yeah. No. Okay.
But
I think that was just more the whole. I think it was just the whole idea that I got like press ganged into doing the D23 event, which I'm genuinely still interested in doing. Still would like to do. It's just that the sort of financial outlay position to book it and confirm it and then get reimbursed by players, we did not necessarily find ourselves with as much. It turns out broken springs on cars are actually quite expensive.
Expensive, yeah.
As well as various other different things. There was a lot of bills and a lot less free cash that particular month. So it's a case of, you know what, let's just pop a pin in it and we'll come back to that.
So I found out today Unit 26 had a outdoor site in Driftfield. But I'd always been eager to go to because it was on an old RAF base, but it was in the building type base, not the airfield type base. So it was very different to Dishforth. That closed in September. They've now bought a new site, which is the old Bedlam paintball site in Nottingley, which is just to the right of Castleford, just off the M62 A1 junction. So it's outdoor woodland, 15 acres. I have requested that for end of March. We'll see what comes of it. So my thinking there is to allow 1 or 2 snipers per team.
What day was that be?
It'll be Saturday, but it's
The
all
28th
in
of
the,
March.
yeah, all up in the air. Yeah, don't book anything.
No, but just quick side note, I have got several days worth of annual leave left over. My work's annual leave calendar runs April to March, and they do not like us putting in annual leave at very short notice. HR tends to get a bit snippy,
Yes.
shall we say. So it's very much a case of, Dave, would you be so kind as to book up your annual leave, please? Thank you very much. And I had actually planned to book off the 28th and 29th off that one, because that would when I would be doing my my night shifts. So it'd be a case of, cool, let's not do night shift. And if you were to simply say to you, why, yes, we happen to be taking stuff on the 28th and the 29th, or the 28th, and I would maybe say, that's fantastic, I'll just be taking those 3 days off, then, wow, look at that, serendipitous.
But yeah, so obviously outdoor woodland site, very different to Dishforth, very different to Quarry. Similar to ones down south, but obviously most of us haven't played down there. So I'm thinking 1 or 2 snipers per team, able to go to 300, the rest of people at 200. Gives people a chance to play with their emotional support, Cumberland.
Yes, but
Well,
that does mean that he'll have to stand still.
Yeah,
See,
well, he don't play
I
the
don't
Just have him
objectives.
standing on a dance mat.
One thing I haven't brought, by the way, I've got the upgraded magazine. So this is obviously only a 5. I bought the AKBM. What? Sorry, that barrel is very close to my ceiling. I've bought the AKBM extended 9 rounds, and it actually fits. You know, it's got this housing on it. Fits the form factor of the Quinlan very nicely. And it doesn't stick down too low, so you can still use it in sort of snipey mode, where drop your.
The legs extend out the way.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Just
So you can very much still do that and still be balanced on the the sort of ball heel of the grip.
Just making sure that you realise that the legs actually did extend.
Yes, I
mean,
did.
I could also add to your methodology and say I've got 10-round workers.
I've got 50.
Want...
I have got worker magazines that will hold more than 9 rounds. It's just I like keeping the form factor of the Quinlan mag, because if you take out that magazine and put in a worker that doesn't have the big sort of barrel-y thing, you've just got a thing stuck out there and it looks a bit silly. So these ones, they have this, those extra little flanges on the ends, so that it actually fits in and looks flush, looks like it's proper. A big magazine that actually isn't.
That's awfully mighty coming for the man who's got big praise for the big Riz. The blaster which genuinely has flapping wings and a light up horn.
Yeah, it's just the Quinlan design requires a bit. I just like the sniper aesthetic of the Quinlan. I'm not beyond having a silly looking blaster. Don't get me wrong. I'm absolutely not against looking silly, says the man with purple wings on it.
Whilst I do not regret passing that blaster on to you, if I was quite happy to sit and perch up somewhere and not move and just take shots for the entire game, I would quite happily do that sniper role. I just know that my own self would be, having done a single perspective, like 300 FPS sniper, like, it's boring as hell to edit. So it would very much be requiring everybody else to also be getting right up there. And I figure, you know what, I'll just take the shield and go right up and do it myself.
So what I would probably do if we were to do that game is I would take the Quinlan, put it in a sniping position, and then if anyone would like to take the sniper role, they can do. I'd have a go myself, but it would be a communal Quinlan for our team, and I'd more than likely have a Diana on my hip.
I'd set up the sniper cam. No, not the dance mat. Well, you know what, dance mat if you want to. But the scope cam, I'd set it up intentionally to that, and I'd literally give you and put that on, because the battery, we'll connect it up to a battery pack or something like that, and it can just sit and record, and I'll cherry pick the moments out of it,
Mm-hmm.
So then that way, whoever's doing the shots can still contribute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
And
that's
with
on
it, sorry, with it being on a tripod as well, that or bipod, that would work very well with the sniper cam, because even when you're cycling the action on it, that's how you do a Quinlan. If you hadn't worried, well, I hadn't realised, when you're doing that particular motion, it's not going to be, you know,
All over
shaky
the place.
cam styles.
Yeah,
it's
no.
it's safe. It's on 2 points of stability. So yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Adam, go for it.
Yeah, so I've got 2 events booked in. That one I'm pushing for. Eyeballs will be another. Obviously, Unit 26 is closing for a rebuild. So we'll be another event once we've rebuilt, because you know we like that site. District 23 is not off the cards. Obviously, we've kind of pushed you towards running it, but if it's a case of, say, Captain Xavier says, I'm coming to the UK, I'll pull out all the stops and I'll get an event organised, because District 23, at the end of the day, it was such a nice venue.
It was.
It was everything I like about Lasermania, Unit 26, and Eyeballs in one. So, yeah, I'd just push for maybe hiring the full day and take the hit on the cost, because I don't want to deal with them doing what they did to us. The other thing I've looked at is Dirty Dog Airsoft, which is Yam, I think. I'm
so.
kind of looking at Darren, because I've kind of pushed him to take in on this one.
I think Dirty Dog Airsoft is north of Dishforth, so it's
yeah,
closer to
it's higher up than Dishforth, similar kind of level to District 23. They have, it's a very hilly site. They have a container village. So CQB village made out of shipping containers, multi-story, quite open ground in the middle that you can fire across. So I reached out to them. They seem eager to have us, but we need our own insurance. So that is a killer for me, but there are plans. That's all I'm going to leave it, and hope Darren fills in the gaps. Obviously, there's the level 2 event in April that Fomentar and Fib are doing. I'll let Darren talk about that. But yeah, I think already it's looking like 2026 could be a good year for events. I know that I want at least, well, we've got 1, 2, but I've got at least 5 that I'm planning at the moment. And obviously, if Dish for my birthday goes well, I might do that again later on in the year. The main issue for me is universities. Obviously, my twins are applying, have done the visits, this thing. They've got the offer holder days and moving in. So September is kind of going to be a write-off for me. So don't expect to see me at any events in September.
Just like a write off October.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think 2026 already is looking good, especially if there's a chance of multiple new venues. Yeah.
I think for us in the north, I know that Al is certainly trying to organise Pro 6, which should be at the first quarter of the year. Date still to be confirmed, but we're definitely looking forward to that. As soon as the weather sort of kicks back up again, it's not freezing cold outside, I'm sure Jozo will be back with some more garden games, and might potentially have possibilities of more family games for FTD, depending on whatnot there. But you know, we're relatively confident that Scottish players are still going to be able to get their fix, you know, with a degree of certainty, even if they're not able to necessarily travel down there. But Darren, we yield the floor to you. Tell us about your plans.
Right, well, obviously, as everyone's aware, because obviously initial adverts have been put out, we've got level 2 organised for April. That is in conjunction with Fomentor, because unfortunately, level 2 is another venue that Adam's just touched on, where although they've got their own in place, we need our own insurance. We can't as we have done with pretty much every other venue we've been to, we can't jump on basically onto the back of their insurance, so we have to have our own. So for that matter, we've teamed up with Beaumont Tour, and effectively, as it's looking good that we'll be able to piggyback their insurance. So that covers that side of it. So obviously, Unit 2 will be a go for April. I believe that is going to be a weekend affair, so a Saturday, potentially a Saturday and a Sunday, or just a Saturday if you can only make it, or only just a Sunday if you can make it, or if you can do both days. The exact logistics, excuse me, of it need to be ironed out. Once I've absolutely done nothing with it so far, so literally need to get Christmas and New Year out the way, and then we can start looking at the ins and outs and the T's and C's, as it were. As Adam's already touched on, he's made the initial communique with Dirty Dog. They're keen, but again, we need. Their only stipulation was we had to do a visit first, which I have no issue with. Obviously, give it a little bit so the weather starts to improve a tad, and also get Christmas and New Year out the way, and then we can start concentrating on. But again, same as that. Again, they also want our own insurance, which after initial, very brief discussions with Adam via online, I approached Beaumont Tour again and said, is this a thing that we could potentially use again? And my initial response is, yeah, no problem. So that might be a go. I might be able to pursue that a bit further and make that a thing.
Brilliant that they'd help out that way. That's fantastic.
So yeah, because as well as they are doing, and they're doing really well down south with their caves and their malls and their outside airsoft paintball arenas that they've got. Pretty much, they've typically got 2, sometimes 3 events per month. They're keen, as we are, to try and promote more countrywide, and are eager and willing to help. Ben is very enthusiastic individual, shall we say. Get on really well with him, and he's eager to help. Outside of that, I only had one more venue that I got details of passed through to me before. I think it was maybe 2 or 3 weeks after Quarry, but due to one thing or another, I've just not been able to pursue it as of yet. So again, get into the new year, get some better weather, or more likelihood of better weather, and then I'll strike up communications with them, because I've had no communication with the site. It's been this other third party, who's then passed everything on to me because their schedule doesn't allow them to pursue it. I'll look into that and see what's what, have a visit, have a look at the site, see what's potential. I like outdoor sites. Shut up, Siri. I like outdoor events. They usually allow a great scope of games and objectives. The only downside is they are very weather dependent. So you usually have to wait until, or at least try and get 2 or 3 months into the year. So you almost, well, not guaranteed, but there's a good chance of you having a better weather day.
We just don't want another day like the Quarry where.
Well, no, that was that was the extreme, but the other
No,
end.
to be honest, we could the Quarry, if we'd just had more water, okay, and maybe
sunscreen.
not all worn black.
Yeah. The thing with the Quarry was it was
if we'd gone to the Quarry all dressing like Magnum PI characters, okay, it would have been fine. Plenty of water and white
what
colour.
we should have done.
The general day
I was wearing bright
was
purple
okay.
and I was still burnt, so yeah.
Yeah, the general day was okay. The heat was, I mean, all right, it hit 28 degrees, was a hot day. The sun, if everybody had the right stuff if we'd have realised, but the weather said we were going to get rain and thunderstorms that day, and they just didn't appear. And then to tap it all off, and the icing on the cake, we're playing inside a
chalk quarry where
everything's white and everything reflects, and no matter where you look, you were blinded and burnt at the same time.
I think my trucker tan's just about faded now, but yeah, double trucker tan. But yeah,
so there is a few things in the pipeline. There's obviously there is one scheduled in already with unit level 2. There's a couple others potential that need a bit more work and a bit more follow up on. Other than that, it's a case of enjoy other people's hard work and fling foam. And I also have no qualms or anything about looking into District 23 as well myself, and maybe going into collabs with somebody or whatever and getting something going there as well, because that was an epic venue.
Which reminds me, I need to borrow your death counters for the birthday event.
I saw that on one of your latest posts. So, not a problem. We shall bring them with us.
Cool. I will definitely be looking to bring the camera down and do more outdoor footage for Adam's birthday event. I thoroughly, as much as I sort of didn't play in Spectres and N7's Kill Factory 12, I thoroughly had a good time walking around with the camera, and I think it's one of the things I really enjoy is, even though I did sort of jigger my leg at Quarry Clash, I did get such a rewarding day by having so many really quality pictures, and I think I'd like to see, because I was aware that Nathan wanted to do some changes to Dishforth. I don't know if those changes have manifested or not there, but it would be interesting seeing, even if it's a case of not necessarily sitting out for the full event, but maybe taking 1 or 2 games out and basically, right, let's get some really cracking shots with a telephoto lens. The 200, 300 millimeter lens where I can quite happily sit back at, safe zone and take pictures of you all out on the fields, sort of thing. I don't necessarily know if we're going to get the word dichotomy of nerf shots, Boneheed, but certainly see what we can be able to do there.
Or the epic shot from the quarry where Adam's essentially, I can't remember the pose he's doing, but that was
Bohemian Rhapsody pose.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
No, you cannot beat my Battle Royale. What was the one in July? I'm just sort of leaning like that against the Starbucks.
Nonchalant nerf, yes, that was it. Yes, or the one where you're in the middle of the sort of like the reload with the lock, where you're sort of flipping around, pulling it back up again. I just catch it right at just the right moment. Again, it's one of these things. Again, I know it's not necessarily everybody's thing. I know it's just something that I've got the background as a photography, but I love walking away with shots that I just simply go, those are bloody epic shots, And it's something that I look forward to having another highly profitable year of taking a whole bunch of really good pictures and having a lot of extra stuff.
It's new Facebook profile pictures, if nothing else. So yeah.
It's just a shame
I've been
doesn't
using
like
Spartan's
blasters.
photos all night, so
we noticed those just gradually sort of like rotating around there. Yes,
I'm surprised the Bohemian Rhapsody one isn't in there. I'm
trying to find it at the
moment. So for me,
the
for
problem is
2026,
he takes so many photos.
You haven't got them all saved to a folder of just your photos.
No.
I don't believe that for a second, that you're not vain enough to have a picture gallery of just shots of you.
Don't.
I've just realised how much dart dust there is in Diana's barrel. I really ought to clean that out. My plan for next year is use all of the meth that I've toddled. I do need to get the jury out at some game and see how reliable it is, because I know people have problems with this thing. I love it. It's just the pop it makes is so satisfying to fire. I still haven't settled on a gear setup I like. I've kind of settled into this kind of battle belt look a bit more. There we go.
There we go.
So battle belt with an LZDP and some mag pouches. I've recently bought one of the sort of Velcro battle belts that Spectre and Ginge were talking about on Discord, so I'm going to try that out.
Or is that where the outer bit
But I'm
Velcro's
seriously
off?
considering the over-the-shoulder bandolier. Yeah, you have a Velcro belt and then you Velcro on the top, essentially a mole.
That's the kit. Yeah, that's the one.
Attachment with all your stuff on, so you can just take it off and you've still got a belt holding your strides up.
That's the exact setup
but
I've got.
Yeah, and I've just bought one. I've not tried it out yet, but that looks good.
Just as a very quick point of reference, is that available with a separate belt? Because
Generally, no, because the inner belt usually has one half of the Velcro on it.
Right, yeah, which is as he is a chunky individual, I tend
to a certain extent, there's nothing stopping you getting, because you can usually buy the outer bits on their own from certain places, and there's nothing stopping you getting a belt and sewing
gluing the Velcro
patches of the other side of the Velcro to said belt. That would work.
Yeah, I mean the belt itself's quite forgiving. I'm a more rotund chap than I used to be, and I've got plenty of space. And I bought the medium, so the large one you probably would work for you. The main thing for me is the security of the big. It's a big chunky clip metal fastening that fastens the outer belt. Which is where all your gear is, where your pouches are, etc. So I'm going to wear mine backwards so that I can have my tactical gonad pouch in the front, because otherwise the clasp would be right where that would be. But it's clip-in, sticks onto the Velcro, and it works really well. Whether I stick with that, because I'm seriously considering trying the over-the-shoulder bandolier style, whether I get the SCRD ones, which do purple or green in my colours. I'm not sure, but I've seen a few people use those to really good effect, particularly Ross. He likes his sort of over-shoulder bandolier.
If you are, Ross could use a Tesco bag to particularly good effect. Okay,
true, but I know Ross likes that style, and I've sort of contemplated trying it just because of things like that.
If you are ordering from Scared, can I have an orange one while you order?
If I do an order, I'll get communal ones. But yeah, I'm seriously considering it just to try it out. I like the idea.
Bandolier is a good option. Just if nothing else, you can run that on its own with just a few mags. If you're running light, say for example, just a Diana, or if you want, if you've got like the example, your loadout is it's sounding very much like it's going down the avenue. I've gone down with the battle belt.
Yep.
And then the bandolier you can throw on if you get, when said organizer, usually Adam, because that's where most of the ones we go to, says, oh, this game is X, and you think, oh, I need a few more mags, then the bandolier is excellent just to be able to throw over your shoulder, clip under your arm, and away you go. I use a bandolier as well.
What I would probably do with it is if I was running two blasters with different ecosystems. So I'd have maybe Talon pouch on my battle belt, and then the bandolier I'd have, say, Nightingale or whatever. If I'd got where I was going to be reliably using both blasters. But the point is, I haven't settled on what I want to use fully. The battle belt is definitely my main. I'm sort of settled in with that. I like the way that works, but it's not the be all and end all. The chest rig I've got is good, but it's just bulky. So yeah, I've not tried that. I've got so many blasters I need to try. I need to try my new Crush, which I love. I haven't tried a couple of other blasters yet this year. I haven't tried my Jury, and a few of the more high-powered things, the Vesper when that turns up. I need to use the method that I have toddled in a game, particularly having bought, I think, 50 gas bulbs for the Jury.
Oh, they are great fun. They are tremendous fun.
I mean, when they jam. They really jam. But as we saw from my mag dump video, even though it's not a mag, I appreciate it's a cylinder. When they work, the pop is just so satisfying. It's a lovely little.
Now the Jury, as we were discussing earlier with darts and getting fresh darts, the Jury does. I've been finding the Jury does like used darts.
Yeah,
much better than
the
brand new.
Really
the only thing you have to remember is when you're pushing them in, you make sure the head is below the level of the barrel. That's all.
The cylinder is really. I found the cylinder was really tight on used darts. On new darts. Like you were proper having to, really jam them in to get them in far into the thing, and they were sort of sticking over the top there. But used darts, I've got a bucket of just sort of random stuff that's come with my Dart Zone blasters, stuff that came with my Siren blasters that I wouldn't actually use in Diana, that I would happily throw through this thing because
they go
it does
through the
quite like
jury very nicely.
I just need to get the cylinders or the
Yeah.
CO2 for my jury.
You can get them from
Amazon's
online
good place.
retailers.
Yeah.
Amazon's, yeah. I think I ended up. I think I got 25 actually, not 50, and it was something like 30 quid for the 25.
Yeah.
No,
The last box I got was a box of 100 for about 46 quid.
Yeah.
I've since been back on to see, and that seller no longer sells now, but there is other
ironically
other options. I mean, pretty much like anything, you can get anything on Amazon, and yeah, you can, and there's varied prices. But Amazon's not the only. Obviously, CO2 is widely used in the airsoft industry, so any airsoft place, anything like that. But even eBay's, etc. But yeah, the jury is great fun.
25 quid, 15 quid for 25 bulbs. I ended up getting, so it's not too bad. But yeah, you can, if you've got a local airsoft site, if you regularly go, I mean, Unit 26 likely sell them.
Most probably
that's an option, but it's only if you've got a jury that you need them.
No, it's just I can just imagine phoning Ernie at the depot. It's that guy that runs into your walls and hello. Oh, seem to lost you there.
Yeah, I think Ernie's a very patient individual with our particular brand of chaos at the depot, shall we say? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people sitting thinking, "What the hell?" Yeah.
I mean, he has to probably walk in, maybe to do something or just to check up on us. Why the hell are they all hee-hawing and laughing?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was Spectre noticed the difference between the airsoft party that we're in, which were very much giving each other abuse over things, and whereas we are quite happily sitting laughing like hyenas about the most, and yeah, I think there's definitely a whole.
We've always found
seriously.
that though. So Foundry, we used to find that, and Unit 26. Frank loves us going because we come up with game time, so he then copies into airsoft. So we just take the hobby as a fun thing. I think that's probably my biggest takeaway from 2025 is it's become fun again.
Yeah.
I think and that's what it should be because we're running around with kids' tights and ducks and
cat ears
and you name it,
and
it should be fun.
Blinking lights attached to it and all these other bits and pieces. Yeah, no, it's definitely we don't take ourselves too seriously, or any degree of seriousness to begin with. There, yeah. So we have been sitting recording now for about 2.5 hours there. I will open up the opportunity for any closing statements. Please do keep it under half an hour long, Boneheed.
Well, I'm going to have to drop off, but like I say, 2025 was great. I'm looking forward to 2026. I think it could be a really good year because we've got several events on the kind of lineup that just need pushing over the line. And
absolutely,
like I say, I want to get back to District 23. I want to get back to the quarry, but just not when it's so peaking hot. Eyeballs, Unit 26. Yeah, it's going to be a good year. Like I say, I've had a really good year this year. So yes. Anyway, with that, I am going to have to go. So catch you all later.
See you later.
Bye.
There we go. So, no real closing statements from myself there. I've had a blast this year. I think it was nice, and a sort of very personal thing. It was nice to get my brother involved in the hobby, and I would like to see him continuing to be part of the hobby because I think Pro 5 had excuse me. Pro 5 commented that I felt that was the event that where it clicked for him, whereas previously just been something to do It was really no, he really got involved and started trying to be more tactically aware of doing things. And I'm thinking, if this is something that helps build your confidence and bring out your shell, then that's fantastic there. Whether or not he continues to do so, that's entirely up to him. But I will continue to support his involvement by facilitating him with new gear.
I, for
and
one, do
whatnot.
hope he does.
Yes, I do. I do thank you for that there. Irving and I sometimes have. It's a bit of a. It's a bit of sort of not always the easiest, you know, relationship. We are. He's got a lot going on in terms of his own headspace sometimes, and if he's having a good day, it's not too bad. If he's having a not too great day, sometimes we can throw fists at each other, which I am not. I'm not proud of, but sometimes things sort of go down that way, and I'd like to make sure that he actually got as much joy and happiness out of the hobby as is possible to do. So I know he's not going to watch this anyway, but if you do, kiddo, just make sure you keep turning up. Okay.
Yeah,
It's been great to have you
indeed.
there,
Yeah,
and I definitely hope that you continue to turn up for 2026 onwards, because I'm quite happy to keep buying you new toys. You know,
It
right?
makes Christmas so much easier.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, there was we were going on B&M, right, and there was a set of like RAC knee pads, right, and they were just like, oh, look, they're like 16 quid down to 10 quid. I have these, and I handed them, and he tries them on, and I went, can I just get your ones instead? Like, okay, sure, there's my ones. So I've now got his knee pads, and he's got my knee pads, and he's really happy with them. 10 quid, and it protects his knees. Um, yeah, so like I'm quite happy to just keep facilitating him having fun because it's like I don't care. It's just money. Buy you stuff, and you go and have fun. Then that's a very worthwhile exchange because I can't buy you
money well spent.
happiness. If I can buy you stuff that brings you happiness, then go for it. Go get.
Yeah, money well spent.
Money well spent. Exactly. Yeah.
That's exactly what the hobby is all about and what it's for.
Yeah, and I know that Sarah herself, as we sort of previously, it's not really been something we've sort of public knowledge outside of Discord, but Sarah and I have been on the weight loss jags. We've been doing it now. This is the closing the second month now. We're now moving on to the third strength for the BGUK jags, and whilst it's not necessarily visible here on the recording, um, both Sarah and I are reporting feeling much more better within their own skins. And I would say that where I am aware that I don't necessarily do myself the biggest favours being a bigger chap with a back injury, I do know that a Pro 5, what I was able to contribute from it, even after just a month of being on the Jags, it was much more than I'd previously contributed at other events. So I'm looking forward to Pro 6 and seeing how much more I don't want to use the word performance, but my ability to contribute and actively involve myself in games might improve. So from that perspective, I think that's something that I'm looking forward to for 2026 is basically, can I get more into things? That's it.
Mhm.
Right.
Well, 2026 is it's looking a lot healthier. Like even just taking like just the sort of January to April chunk with what's been booked and confirmed so far, that's looking a lot healthier than like say January to April 2022,
Oh yeah.
and even like 2023 and 2024. It's looking we're we're on that upward trajectory again. Just nobody go to uh, places and eat anything dodgy.
Yeah. Hopefully, though, I mean, because I know it's one of the things that, like, at my work, we're very well aware of the potential for um, sort of seasonal influx of unhealthiness there. So it's a case of let's make sure that we don't have a return to prior currencies where we go back in time again and we're back down to the problems. Yeah, let's hope we've all learned our lesson about how to do things. Ideally, you know. Um, Boneheed, yourself, closing statements.
Nothing really from me. I think I've covered everything. Just, want to change gear, want to toddle more meth, and then use said meth in games. Looking forward to it. For some reason, I enjoy spending time with you horrible lot. So more of it in the new year.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for a nutshell for me. Really, really enjoyed 25 with the different events. Looking forward to 2026 being more of the same. Like Red's already touched on, we've got pretty much, all right, January's out of the way, but pretty much everybody's recovering from Christmas and the spend and the eating and the festivities, shall we say, of the festive period. So usually 9 times out of 10, January's out of the window anyway. So, but we've got February, March, and April. We've got a venue booked in. Um, it's always a strange one because running up to a venue, I hate it and I'm dreading it. But then once the venue starts and I'm there and I'm in the middle of it and I'm running it, I love it. And then I'm like, oh yeah, looking forward to the next one. And then I dread it again. But let's say we've got one in on the card already. That's booked in. Got two potentials that we need to look into. So we'll pursue that. But they're outdoors, so we'll maybe leave that further into the year. I'm also I love Nerf. I love flinging Nerf with everybody and anybody I can, but I'm also very conscious I don't want to out Nerf people, as in the costs involved, because it's not just the ticket price, it's also the logistics, the cost of getting to and from, etc., etc. So I don't want to be guilty of bombarding the year with too many events, and then it's a case of all the event organizers then suffer because people then have to pick and choose.
Yeah.
So if we can potentially, I'll be looking and keeping an eye on venues and events throughout the country, throughout the year, and the other end, the events that I've got on the cards that I need to pursue a bit more with anyway before we can even potentially announce anything. I just want to make sure that I don't conflict with anybody else, so everybody can get maximum turnout they can. Because at the end of the day, if you have a good turnout and everything's covered as much as possible, then the more likely you are you're going to do another one, and then another one, another one, and it's good for everybody. So I'm eager to try and make sure 2026 is more of the same of this year. From my own personal point of view, I'm looking forward to potentially getting my hands on the Vespa, which with a bit of luck, I might be able to get my hands on it sooner than most, because the big order that out of all the darts has done has been knocked back. He's been pushed back to batch 2, which is looking predominantly at the earliest being distributed around March. I've got my order in with a different online shop, and as yet have had no notification it's been delayed. So fingers crossed. I'm crossing everything. I'll hopefully receive mine from batch 1. So that's quite exciting, and I'm just, again, I'm a typical kid in a toy store. Oh, shiny! So that'll be fun and
describes
interesting.
95% of people in this hobby.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Not because of its capabilities, because at the end of the day, it won't do anything different than my SPF has already done. My SPF already does, which again doesn't do anything different than my FDL3 doesn't do. The only thing it did do was pretty much hang the reins up on my FDL3, because my FDL3 is long dart, but it's quite an intricate build, and I, for one, do not want to take it to bits and reprint everything that you need to reprint to convert it to short darts. So that's pretty much where the SPF came from. So yeah, more venues, hopefully, more varied venues. I'm looking forward to trying to get to as many venues as I can, other than any that I potentially organise. I always like to get to as many as I can. I'm waiting with interest about news of Pro 6. I would like to come again. It's just purely the cost and logistics of Pro 5. If he can get it for longer, then I would dare say we would be, as long as the dates line up, we would be 100%, be there again. For just for 4 hours, that's right on the cusp of can we, can't we, can't, don't know. But I love the venue. It was brilliant. Unit 26, looking forward to that one. And again, when it's been rebuilt and Adam's managed to get a date in, looking forward to the changes that Frank makes there. That's always interesting. Would
You need
love
do
to
a
get back.
walk-around video for that one then. You need to actually get people to do like an
Potentially,
actual
yeah.
walk around to just take 5 minutes out and just basically show off the new layout because
That's doable.
it's one of the things that I
I
want
can
to
do that.
Yeah, because it was a case of it's just looking at again. I haven't had a chance to do the whole of the Unit 26 ones, but I saw the as soon as you walked in, they were okay, it's changed.
Yeah.
And then I just thinking some of the just when I've been trying to remember what it was like when I was watching the previous ones there and thinking, oh, that's changed a wee bit. But the whole idea of Frank's new layout, basically just taking 5 minutes walking around with the GoPro and just sort of here's the new layout, okay? Because Frank will benefit from it because there's a video showing what his work is like, but also we can go right, okay, yeah, let's see how this plays out,
Yeah, and pretty much other than that, it's District 23. We'd love to get back to there again because that with the elevated areas was again another phenomenal venue. Whether it's one that I organise or I collaborate or it's somebody else that organises, fair be it. But yeah, I would love to get back to Unit 23, District 23 again this year. We've got some core venues that are staple favourites. We need to visit them again and then see what these new ventures are going to be like and see where it goes.
Well, I think we can comfortably wrap it up there if everybody's okay with that.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Well, this has been our end of year 2025 special. Thank you to my guests this evening, and thank you to everybody who joined us. This has been recorded after the Unit 26 and Pro 5 ones, but we're releasing it out of sequence there just now. So it will just be a sort of end of year special there. But I'm sure we'll be back for another one, more than likely one of Adam's ones. And that'll give me a nice chance to just sort of catch up and get the editing table nice and clear there. So thank you to my guests. Catch you all next time. Good night.
See you later.